What up, everyone? This episode has been brought to you by Jamhits. Jamhits is a one-stop shop for all of your multimedia needs. Whether you're an artist in need of some studio time, recording a music video, if you're in need of printing out some artwork for your upcoming album, show, or merch, Jamhits is the place for you. We also have many different podcasts and radio shows in which you can promote yourself in the confines of our state-of-the-art studio. I guarantee you, once again, Jamhits is the place for you, so go give them a follow on Instagram. This is for all of my sneakerheads out there. I get all of my sneakers from one place, and that is Inland Empire Sneakers. Are you tired of paying those extra fees on certain websites? Are you tired of missing the beat on the latest drops? Are you tired of your shoe plug being outrageously overpriced? Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, go give Inland Empire Sneakers a try. That's my primo, and let him know that Santi sent you. Once again, Inland Empire Sneakers on Instagram. Go give them a DM, go follow them, and for an extra discount, let them know your boy Santi sent you. What up, everyone? Welcome to the premiere episode of Santis Section. Your boy's been out the game for a minute, so before I get to my guest right here, I just wanted to give a huge shout out and a thank you to all of my friends, family, and everyone that has stuck with me during my downtime. And just, I'll give you guys a condensed version of where I've been, what happened. Shout out to the Conference Room 951 who got me into the podcast game. At the time, I was dealing with a lot of personal things. My daughter was diagnosed with childhood epilepsy. So that took me out the game for a minute. And I really wasn't thinking about doing a podcast again. You know, I had a few people reach out and I'm like, maybe. Yeah, I'll hit you up once I start doing it again. And in the midst of that, several people, not many people, stayed in touch with me. I became good friends with them and it kind of kept those juices flowing. But then your boy went out with a very, very bad, severe injury where I couldn't walk for a couple of months. So obviously I can't walk, I can't work. I wasn't thinking about doing a podcast at all at the time. And I recovered. Thankfully I recovered. And one day out of nowhere, which leads me into my guest, my homegirl reached out to me and said, hey, would you be willing to co-host an episode with me? And I know you've thought about doing a podcast. I don't know if you are still planning to. Come check it out. I'm with Jamhits and they are open to taking more people in. So it definitely was an offer or an opportunity that I couldn't refuse. And that's what brings me here. So that leads me into my guest here, 2souls, in my opinion, the queen of radio out here in the Inland Empire. You can watch and listen to her radio show, Triple Shot Tuesday, every Tuesday here on Jamhits, their YouTube channel, as well as Zeno FN.
Yes, and PUSO 82.3 FM and Tony's Talk Showcase. Shout out to him.
So
that's right, because he's also in the IE, so I ain't the only radio show here.
I said queen.
But I am hopefully one day being, crowned the queen of the IE radio show.
You are.
That could be a thing.
You've been crowned here on Santi Section. You motherfuckers heard it.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for, having me as your guest, especially for the first one. Mm-hmm. That's right. Being on here, man.
You had to pop the cherry with 2souls.
It's an honor to, be here. And not only that, but to have them on as a team, as a team player on the Jamhits TV, network. And, when my boy was out, like he said, when he was out, on disability, from time to time, I was checking up on you, remember?
Yes.
And I was just like, you know what, like, you probably, want to go ahead and do your podcast. You've been saying, that you've been wanting to interview people. You want to do that back, want to get back in that track again. And when you were down and out, that's like the first thing I thought of. I was just like, well, if he's going to be at home, God forbid if this, if he doesn't get back on his feet like how he should be, but this is something that you could, he could do, I was like, like it's not much, just be on here, chilling, relaxing. And so here we are, thanks to Jamhits TV, they gave him an opportunity to jump on board with us and be part of the familia. And, now here we are once again, because I had him on my Valentine's Day special, you guys, on the top 20. And that was a real nice episode. I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of good feedback. A lot of people loved us, and they liked the way we were conversating and the topics we were talking about. And I don't know, I guess people just love talking about relationships, right?
Yeah, they do.
Especially, that blanket situation. Did that throw you in the doghouse?
Nah, I didn't throw me in the doghouse. Actually, she said, you know what? You're right, though. My mom does have that blanket. So, the good times. And I just want, once again, thank you. I mean, you're a very significant part of why this is happening right now, And it was not in the works for me, considering where I was at. I was down and out, laying on the floor for several months, So thank you. I owe you a lot, I feel like. And speaking of I owe you, your birthday just passed last month.
Yeah,
so I got you a little something.
Oh, birthday gifts? Yeah. What? Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, look at what I got you guys. I got a Santi Section t-shirt. Yeah. What? That's right. Can I open it really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to feel this, man. You know what? This is what we're going to talk about right now. When you have a product that you can talk about and you could be like, you know what, this is guaranteed right here. Like, it feels nice already. Yeah. I could feel the comfortness is going to be nice on me.
There you go.
It's gonna be hugging them love handles that I got. See, guys, if you guys want a shirt, you guys got to come through. Hit up Santi Section. Make sure you guys follow on Instagram. Thank you so much. I like it.
You're welcome. Yeah. And shout out to my homie Nightcrawler. He's the one that put together this logo.
Oh, and, okay.
Yeah, one thing led to another.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, the logo was actually made like 6-8 months ago.
Oh, wow. And today we're...
Yep, unveiling it.
Showing it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
yeah,
man.
So, once again, thank you. And I know I know you, but there's like so many things where I'm like, damn, how did this happen? How did that happen? So how did 2souls happen? How'd you come up with the name 2souls?
Oh, that's a long story. Well, it's actually 2souls forever. So if those of you guys that don't know who I am, you're more than welcome to follow me on Instagram on 2souls forever. So basically, exactly what it's meaning that, for me, it means that two souls, they met, they fall in love, and they basically are together forever, So it's basically talking about a couple, or a relationship, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a relationship, and two people that are together, and they stay together forever. So I would always be called 2souls forever, 2souls forever. And then one time, I was on my homie's live stream, and they were like, damn, that's a long name to keep saying every time she comes through, right? So they just ended up saying they were going to cut it off and say, hey, let's just start calling you 2souls.
Oh, wow.
So they ended up doing that. So shout out to Pura Cultura Podcast out there in the Mexi Twins out there in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow.
And you know what? It's all right. I'm cool with it. If everyone wants to call me 2souls, I don't mind,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that's been wondering what's my real name, but hey, can't have my government name, you know me too much like that. Nah. I got some people looking for me.
Staying on the low, huh?
That's my personality radio show name, and also other things that I've done besides just radio shows. So it's been just that name,
How long have you had that name?
Man, I want to say maybe like 2018, maybe like 2018. I think it started.
Yeah. Did you go by something else before that?
I don't want to say all that.
No, I'm not asking the name, but
yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
did. Yeah, I did. And then I switched it. I was just like, it's time for a change.
Yeah, and this was prior to you starting the 2souls On Phyre radio?
Yeah, this was way before. Yeah, before I got into radio, I was heavily doing like promoting, advertising for either artists or businesses. And it was something that I think I took upon myself to do whenever it was, when we got into the COVID. Like as soon as everything's closed, there's nothing to do. I'm like, shit. So then I spent a lot of hours on Instagram.
Yeah.
And because we were in solitude, like no friends.
Yeah,
so all we had was just our Instagram friends, people online, talking to everybody online, live streaming, all that. And so I just thought it was exciting for me because I've always loved marketing, like advertising. I've always had that in me when I was younger. And so I just grabbed certain things here and there of different businesses and started like posting here and there, and then finding ways to make it more like interesting, kind of like a commercial.
Yeah.
And then it just took off from there, and everybody started hitting me up. They were like, hey, our followers been noticing all your advertising that you've been doing for our radio show or for our business or for me as an artist, or it was just all different kinds of like people, not just businesses, but different things. And then I was like, oh, you guys liked it? They're like, yeah, they really enjoyed it. They're like, who's this girl? Who's 2souls Forever? And like, why is she posting all this stuff? And so then later on, I was just like, man, this could become a business,
Yeah, absolutely. And it started with marketing. What motivated you to get into the radio show game?
Well, because I started promoting a lot of artists myself. I was like either trying to find different podcasts so that they can go on to like, hey, you know what, like, I know an artist that wants to get interviewed. Can you interview him? They're like, yeah, send him through. So I was finding so many, and then like I was getting to know a lot of different podcasts because I was listening to their shows and following them, either whether it be on the platforms like on Spotify or YouTube or whatever have you. And so I was just like, hey, you guys want to go ahead and interview this artist? All right, cool. And so I was like the middleman. I was like passing them out. Here you go. Like, here's an Instagram. This is a podcast. Go ahead and hit them up. Tell them I sent you. It was always, tell them 2souls sent you. Tell them 2souls sent you. And as soon as they knew that, they were like, oh, I already know who it is. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put them on the show. And a lot of them, they got on the shows. They were, and I was like, all I want is for you to make sure you shout me out when you're in that interview. That's all I want. I'm like, I'm not charging you. I'm not, asking for nothing back. But the only thing I just wanted was that for them to say like, yeah, you know what, like 2souls, shout out to 2souls because she got me this interview. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
That little credit right there. And I did pretty good. I mean, I had a few artists that I was helping out, to get on shows and stuff like that and podcasts and all that. And then it started getting a little deeper when whenever I would see like advertisements for like, hey, we need an artist, we need artists for these shows coming up. We have a lineup that is empty right now. We want to fill it up. And then I was like, ding. I'm like, oh, I already know who to call. So I was like, hey, they're looking for artists. Are you down to show up? Come on, man. Come on. You could be on the stage. And they're like, no way. And so I was making those connections too. Not only like for them to be known on like social media, but also now it was getting deeper. Now it was like, oh shit, now she's actually making connections with people that are doing organizations of events, and having them on stage and them giving them an opportunity to, do their whole artist thing on stage. And it was awesome. Some of them had asked me, they wanted me to be their manager, but I was like, I don't want to be a manager because then that means you have to be committed to that one person. And I was wanting to do just my be free to do what I'm doing, still help the artists out here and there. But I didn't want to be like, where I felt like, now I'm working for somebody. I wanted to still be me and still control what I am doing for people. Yeah. Not someone controlling me, telling me not, oh, why haven't you posted me? Or why haven't you, like, like, I'm not trying to be all that. Yeah. So I loved the way I was doing it.
Don't you feel that way sometimes, though? That you get that vibe?
Yeah.
Like you feel that, like me, when I repost something, I just do it out of pleasure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But don't you feel sometimes like some of the artists will feel like, hey, like you're not reposting me or I'm doing this and that, but do you get that vibe sometimes?
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to open up that can of worms because, hey, Tony's watching. He knows what I'm talking about. He's like, oh, here she goes. Because it is true. Like, the thing is that a lot of the team that works with the 2souls On Phyre Radio, we are not funded. So we're all doing it from the bottom of our hearts that we love. We're passionate about music. We're passionate about getting the gente out there, their name, their music, stuff like that. But when it becomes to be where it's like we're pressured now and we're treated a certain way by certain artists where they start acting like we are, they're like demanding. They're very like, hey, why aren't you posting my stuff? Or why haven't you played my track? And it's like we have tons of artists that we are trying to promote, that we're trying to make sure that we make them look good. We want to present them professionally as a professional artist that they are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, a lot of the artists, if they're barely starting out, a lot of them still need a lot of practice on how to become a professional artist and how to present yourself as a professional artist that you are, because a lot of times in the emails, you could tell right off the bat, or you can tell in the DMs right off the bat that they don't have that a lot of them don't have that. Their mannerisms, the way they come at me, come at my management team. Some of them, like, we'll be sharing, like, emails back and forth, and they'll sometimes, my management will email me or they'll DM me, and they're like, hey, what the heck is this all about? And I'm like, man, it's just like, they're so demanding, and, and I'm like, come on, like, we're not getting paid. We're not charging you guys for this. The least we want is, like, to have our artists shout us out and share our page and tell other artists about us. But, we don't want to come to the point where we're going to have to charge our artists to be having their music played on our radio show. We're trying our best to keep it that way, but there's times where a lot of them don't have a lot of patience, and they don't want to wait. They just want everything now. We're like, hey, like, this artist has been patiently waiting for 2 months or 3 months to be put on the showcase, and we just met you, and you've only been following us for a week and haven't really known you, haven't seen you post anything about our show, tell other people about us. Exactly. It's just kind of like, well, I just did once, and I'm like, damn, well, once, okay, but like, those people have been waiting for 3 months, and they're like really like been like day one followers, not just like they just not like, somebody like, that just met us,
It's like they have that automatic self-entitlement, huh?
Sometimes, that's how I feel, and some of my team members feel that way sometimes. I mean, we're cool people. We try to, like I said, we try to put everybody's music out there, and we're not. We promote a lot of genres. So that's the good thing about it, is that it's not just hip hop, it's not just rap, it's like all kinds. Reggae, we have ska, we have metal. We do all kinds, bachata, cumbia, rancheras, corridos. I mean, you name it.
Do. I mean, look at our episode that we had.
Yeah.
On the Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And it was a mixed genre. Yeah. Yep. So.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying with all of that. For me, in the midst of everything you just explained with certain artists, what turns me off is when I feel like I'm just being a friend for the most part, right? But when all of a sudden I start noticing me promoting them more than they promote themselves,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes hand in hand with what you just said. You know someone for a week, and yet they're already expecting you to repost them, do this and that. Yeah. You don't know anything about this person. You don't know their hustle.
Yeah.
To me, I know a lot of talented people, and I'm not talking shit. I'm just, in my opinion, keeping it real, that other people that are less talented outwork them. And many times I will support the ones that are outworking the ones that have more talent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not running a radio show, what I mean? But it's just the way I see it. Even with you, sometimes I see like, damn, 2souls promotes these people more than they promote themselves. But like, we got to remember, like I said earlier, there's a lot of artists out there that are still young, and they're still learning, on how to promote themselves. A lot of them don't know how. And I don't hate on that, but I just say, let's just have them practice it, like read about how to promote yourself. Like how I read about, like I read about how to broadcast. I took some online classes myself because I wanted to make sure that I look professional and I present my artist professionally also on my radio show. Of course.
So as an artist, and not to like put anyone down, like I said, if they don't know how to have their mannerisms or how to look professional. But you know what? This is a business, and so you got to treat it as a business. So therefore, hey, read about how to look professional, how to stand out, how to promote yourself. And that way, you know what? People love that, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but there's some that are lazy and don't want to do it at all, and they want you to do it for them.
That's what I meant. Yeah, they got to learn the ropes and practice their craft,
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, with podcasting, with radio shows, we know that it involves a lot more than just being behind a mic.
Exactly.
It involves the rest, which leads me to my next question. I mean, okay, radio show, I know you love. Aside from that, I mean, I know you throw your own shows. What's the one thing where you're just like, man, I love this, that gives you that vibe? Like for me, I'll answer it. I love the networking. I love the, making friends. I get a high off of that, seeing someone like treating you like family, like yourself.
Exactly.
Like I met you in that networking circle, and like, we're like family now,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think my gratification, I guess that's what you want to know, is like, what do I grasp from doing what I do? To me, it's like the networking, of course, like getting to know different artists, left to right, and seeing what they're all about and listening to their music. And not just saying I'm going to listen to it, I'm going to actually listen to it. I have them on my playlist. I listen to them, and let that roll, you know what I mean? Because not only that, I'm helping the artists out for them to get their, couple cents or whatever they make off of the platforms, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just be like, oh, yeah, homie, I support you. Yeah, that's right. And then later on, you're like, hey, so let me look at your playlist. Yeah. Let me see if I'm on there. Like, let me see you play me. Let me see how many times you play me. Because that's the thing. We all say we support, but you actually have your homies at least. And you might not like their music, but at least have them on there and play, or mention it to someone else,
Absolutely.
But with me, I think my gratification that I get the most by doing what I do is that I see an artist that has such potential and such talent that I'm like, why aren't you out there in the mainstream? Why, oh my gosh, their music is just so amazing and hasn't been discovered. So when I feel like, I'm not saying I'm the one that discovered them, but of course, there's probably other people that help me get to that person, because I get a lot of referrals from different people like you have, and other people that have. They'll be like, hey, I know an artist that you would love to interview on your show. Like, I'm going to send them your information. And then when I get to know them, I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And so then my gratification is when they're actually out there, they're doing their albums. Like, for example, Danny Boy. Back in the days, albums, and then album after album, and then their EPs, and then they're doing these shows, and they're getting on the big old stages, like the freaking Whiskey a Go Go, or all these big old venues, and they're like, oh, I'm doing this show, and I try my best to get everyone that's listening out there. I try my best to get to all your shows. Sometimes they can't, money's tight, you know what I'm saying? I'm a single mom, a hustler, and it's difficult, living on one income. So, there's times where that's the reasons why. It's not because I don't want to support you. It's not because I don't want to see you or drive to you or whatever, but because trust me, I've driven a lot of places to see a lot of different artists, but money's tight. As you can tell, gas prices are expensive nowadays. The economy is just crazy right now, guys. So, my bad if I can't show up to your, music releases or whatever have you. I mean, I've gotten invited to so many. Our radio show has gotten invited to so many that we have not been able to assist. But we try our best to always promote the artists. Like I said, we always tell them, hey, if you have a show coming up, let us know. We could try to promote here and there, There's so many artists that send us so many things throughout their DMs, throughout the day, throughout the week. And we try our best. We do try our best. But what makes me happy is that they know that they have a home with 2souls on Phyre Radio. They know that they have, if we're going to have a show, if we're able to put them on the show, on the, on the scenario, on the stage, hey, more power to them. We're able to, we're going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel that too. Yeah. Not to, copy exactly what you said, but I'm with you on all of that. I wish I could be at every show, but family life, work life.
Yeah.
This.
Definitely. And I know that all the real ones out there, they understand, you know what I mean?
They fully understand.
They know my heart, and everybody that I've gotten to meet through my whole journey that I've been doing this, they hear what I say. Like, a lot of them, especially the ones that I've interviewed, the ones that I've spoken to personally about what we're doing here and what our vision is. They all know, man. And that's why I'm I know that they got my back, and they got our back as far as doing the radio show on the network and all that. Because that's what it is. It's all about helping each other out and, supporting each other authentically, not freaking be, a hater, low key.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And since you mentioned your vision already right now, what was your vision originally when you started 2souls on Phyre Radio?
Oh, the original vision was basically to promote the artists, and to let their music be known, and to keep playing their tracks, and let everybody out there in the world, hey, there's this artist that I want you guys to listen to and see what you guys think, and if you guys like them, go ahead and follow them. And that was called the Triple Shot Tuesday back to back to back, which is presenting 3 artists. In that 1 hour, I would play 3 songs that they sent us, and we would talk about a little bit about them. It wasn't that they weren't interviewed or nothing, but we had sent little questionnaires, and then they'll fill it out, send it back, and then I would, talk about them on the show. And we did that for a whole year. Until then we just transitioned to all of a sudden hey, you know what, maybe I can actually get them into the studio and interview them one-on-one. And that took on a whole different level. Because for a whole long time, I was just doing my little radio show by myself as a host inside of one little tiny little room, you know. And then I ended up transitioning maybe like a year later. It was like, okay, let's go ahead and actually do it into like the setting like this. And a lot of people loved it. They were like, "Oh, we want to go on your show. We want to get interviewed."
Isn't that a great feeling?
Yes, it was.
Right?
It was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling, and you know I believe the first artist that I had interviewed is actually from the 909. I hope I'm not wrong, but his name's MC Rules.
Oh, okay.
And he's out from 909, I believe, in Bloomington. So shout out to MC Rules. I believe he was my first one because I remember telling him that he was going to do a rap challenge for me. I said, look, we're going to do this on this show right now. This is something that we've never done before. I said, I want you to rap to a beat that I pick out randomly from YouTube. Are you down? And he said, yes. And he rapped. And he rapped freestyle for me like the first time ever.
It's a trip though, right? Once you get your foot in the game, whether it's radio shows, podcasts, how your vision evolves based on the results that you get. Like, I don't know if you could relate, like me, myself, when I started doing the last podcast that I was on, I didn't know that I was going to attract the crowd that I ended up attracting.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like with you, do you feel like you went out there like trying to target a certain crowd?
I was.
You know?
I was.
And so my question is, did you end up accomplishing that? No?
No,
okay.
It's so hard. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you. So, okay, I'm a real big fanatic of ska music. I love ska punk, ska, reggae, ska, everything, right? And at that time, I was really heavy in that scene, you know, like going to concerts. And I know a lot of like artists and a lot of bands. So I kept saying, man, you know, one thing I don't hear on the radio as much is ska music. I was like, why can't we listen to something like that on like a FM dial, you know? Like, why is it always hip hop? It's rap, it's Chicano music, it's, you know, all this other stuff except for that, you know, there's no radio show for them. So then I had started with the intentions of trying to like have them on my show, like have that kind of music played on my show. But it's hard because a lot of them, a lot of them didn't have like their music on MP3. They didn't have them recorded in studios. Because they're like backyard, like, you know, just let's go, put the damn drums up, guitar, let's do this, boom, 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 playing and everything. And a lot of them didn't have like, you know, music on like platforms and stuff like that. You know, so there is certain ones that have it and have submitted their music to me, and I've had them play their music on my shows and stuff. But in my vision was more, I wanted it like I wanted that to be like the main like type of genre, and it's just hard. It was difficult. So then I just started noticing that more people were coming through with different kinds, like, okay, hip hop more, rap style more. And then, I mean, I'm hating it. I love it, you know. But the whole thing was like mostly focused on, I was trying to get the ska music out there, you know, the reggae music out there, the punk, the metal. But it didn't happen as much as I wanted it to. But you know what? I've had my share of bands on my show, you know, that I'm really happy to have. And to this day, like, you know, still connected with them, you know, and still rock with the shows, you know, for them and all that. And I've helped them, you know, with their, you know, passing out their flyers or mentioning them on the, you know, social medias. And so they know who they are.
No, it's I find that very fascinating because the way it happened with me, not that I'm just trying to have a hip hop podcast, right, or anything like that, but I was always a hip hop head. But the last podcast that I was on, we just started it as chopping it up about random topics, trending topics, all of that.
Yeah.
And I noticed when we created our Instagram, some rappers started following us, right? And I was like, And then I was the one controlling the IG account, and then one rapper reaches out, hey bro, can I get on the podcast? And I was like, dude, I don't even know how to get a guest on. What the fuck? And it was Destruct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the rest is history after that. Like then, you know, I started getting that treatment that you just explained, where people are like, hey, let me get on. And I was like, then it went from rappers to like clothing designers and other things too. But I was like, wow. Okay. And even the guys that I was with, they're like, dude, I think you found your passion. Like, you know, they were hinting like, yeah, this is you, you know, like do your thing. So yeah, it's amazing. So with that being said, I think you kind of answered it already. How much in this game since you started doing this has your ear changed?
It's pretty broad. I mean, like I'm very versatile with music, and I've listened to so many different artists do different things. And there's different ways of rapping and incorporating beats and drums and instruments, and it's something interesting to me. Like, I love it. I love the fact that there's artists out there that can incorporate, especially like hooks and stuff. Like, one to mention, like the Evil Emperor, Big Serbs. I had him on my show, not on my show like physically, but like I had him on the Triple Shot Tuesday. Well, when I first heard one of his tracks too, like he had so I was like, I had to go back to it. And I haven't talked to him. I don't think I sent him a message about this one. He had like a hook of like something from back in the 50s or something, or 60s. Mm-hmm. And he put that in his song, and he's like, rapping and stuff, and that's in there. And I'm like, wow, like an artist to do something like that from, like gets a beat from like way back when, and then all of a sudden makes it kind of new with his like rapping too. And then I'm like, wow. And like another one that does that is Breeze Beats. He does that all the time too. I remember I was challenging him because he was doing this challenge on YouTube. on Instagram. And he was like, all right, who challenges, like how you think I could do this one and like switch it up? And I was like, you can't do no Depeche Mode, man, because I grew up with Depeche Mode. Yeah. And he did. He switched it up and made it into some like fresh beat that anyone could rap to, a rapper could rap over and shit. I was like, damn, that's dope. So to me, like, it's fascinating when artists could be like that. So yeah, that's something new that, because I grew up with like listening to Ice Cube, stuff like the old, music from the West Coast and stuff. But when I hear artists like nowadays, how they're mixing and, moving that music with their raps, and then, the instruments that they kind of put in between, and also like the way they rap and their flows, and like Kill It Left. Oh my God, with this song called, I always say it wrong, Whim Wham Bam or something like that. But anyways, it's because he's rapping so fast, right? And then all of a sudden it just like slows down, and then he's all flip it to the B side, and then all of a sudden is faster than I thought. I was like, damn, like first he was doing fast, and then I'm like, okay, I'm loving it. And then he switches it down, and it drops like a beat like really low, and then all of a sudden just says like boom, like full force, and I'm all going crazy, like, damn, okay. I was hoping he was going to do that at the Stoner Bash event, but he didn't have that one. But he said next time he'll do it for me. Shout out to Kid Left.
Yeah, my ear has changed in the sense where, like, before I would just listen to a hook or something, and I would judge a song by its hook or by its cover. You know what I mean? And then after I started meeting people and hearing their music, like, it's different when you meet the individual and then you hear the song. For me, when you listen to the song, it's like you know where they're coming from.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people where, and maybe 3 years from now, if you ask me, hey, would you listen to this? I probably wouldn't. But being involved in this community, it really changed my ear for the better. And I like that. Yeah.
Especially when you interview them too, because you hear the story of how they became who they are, and where was their mind at that time when they created the track, or, the verses, or whatever they were doing, as if they were collabing with somebody, or however they collabed. Like the collaborating team that I like, that I'm trying to get on my show, which I won't say all their names because I want to surprise everybody when they want to watch my show. But it's 3 guys, and they're very dedicated to what they do. And I'm pretty sure you probably know who I'm talking about when I'm describing them. But they are each individual artists, and they're a team of 3, and they are amazing. Yeah, they are. When I, saw them on stage for the first time, and I'm like, I need it. And then I saw them again promoting themselves on another show that I wasn't able to go to, but I said, man, I hit them up and I go, I need to get you guys on my show. Yeah. You guys are amazing at what you do, and, I just love it.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, we've seen one of them together at a show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
I think that's who they are. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It just amazes me, how a lot of artists, their individualities with their own music, their own, persona, their own music, their lyrics, their creations and stuff. And then when they combine with such other talents out there, and I've noticed a lot of other artists that I've promoted that have connected because of me. Yeah. And it makes me so happy to know that, like, I have a friend that is from the East Coast. His name's Boney. Shout out to Boney, BonyNYC. And he's a bachata, all bachata, but like R&B, hip hop, like, oh man. So his music is amazing. I had him on the top 20 on the Valentine's Day. Anyways, I just heard that he's also collabing with another artist that I promote that he met through me. He calls me up one day. He's like, oye, chica, because he talks like that. Oye, mami, he's like, ya tú sabes que yo voy a conectar con un artista que tú me enseñaste, que tú me presentaste, que es allá del Bay Area. And I'm like, wait a minute, the Bay Area? Oh my God, I think I know who it is.
That's good.
And then he's like, yeah, so we're going to do a song and, we're going to hook it up. This is like, okay, can't wait. So I'm not going to mention who he picked because I want to make sure I promote him. When that song hits, like when that comes out, they're going to drop it. And he's like, I'm going to put it on my show for the first time.
Yeah, it definitely is an amazing feeling. That song should be dedicated to you for sure. So, what is your? You've been doing it for a while. I know you talked about your craft and like what drives you, but what was initially like your biggest inspiration to get into all of this?
My inspiration. Well, I love music. That's for sure. Like I've always loved music. I think that. Because my name's 2souls, right? So I that's part of it. The music feeds my soul, you know what I mean? And when you're down and out, you're feeling either depressed or anxiety or whatever it is, there's going to be certain kind of music that everybody has that they want to listen to either wind down, to make them feel either happy, to make them, remember a time in their life that they were really happy if they're not happy. So music is just like an all thing for me. Like I just either cook, clean, take a shower, at work, listening to music. It's something that everyone, I think, can connect with, even if it's not in the same language. Like there's other people that I've promoted on my show that I don't know what they're saying. There's this guy from the Ukraine. His name's Killer Bank. Shout out to Killer Bank. And he's from the Ukraine. And he's singing in his Ukrainian language. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm loving it. I'm like, man, like I feel it. Like I wish I knew the lyrics, but I could probably, I don't know, like Rosetta Stone it or something. Hey, I'm showing my age, man. Because okay, what else is new that translates? Google Translate. Okay, there you go. Google Translate for me, please, or Alexa. I'll ask Alexa.
Oh shit! All the devices are about to turn on in here. Fuck.
But yeah, so to me, it's just like a passion that I have, and that's just kind of how it, it blew, from there. With the music, and I also not only like music, but I like also like the acting part, did a little acting myself.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
How long ago?
That was, that's kind of like what I started doing way before I started doing the radio show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was acting for a long time with Cover Your Ass Entertainment. I did. They ended up picking me out for a comedy skit that we did. Shout out to Love Machine and Dopey, Incredible Javier, and Cold Tats. And we had went out to the beach in Long Beach, and I had started following Love Machine for a while and started seeing how he's funny and all that. And so then he hit me up one day. He's like, "Hey, girl, you want to come out on a comedy skit that we're doing? Because we're gonna need a female."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I've done a couple, acting here and there in my lifetime, when I was younger in high school and all that. So I went, and they wanted me to play a part. So I was like, all right, I'm down, and kind of took off from there, and I was doing all kinds of comedy skits with them. The ones with the anchor woman and the anchor man, those were funny. And we did a whole bunch of scenes, different ones, and Dopey was always writing the skits for us. And me and Love Machine would act it out, and Crow, and then we also ended up incorporating Long Beach Carlos from the Nightcap Bootleg. Then we incorporated Miss West Coast, and then we had Loco Pez, and all these different people that we were just meeting on the internet that are also like either doing something, either podcast, either they're doing comedy skits. They're trying to also get their names out there, for what they're also bringing to the community and stuff like that. So just everybody started like, yeah, let's do it. It started getting bigger and bigger. Even Herds Media. I don't know if you've ever heard of Herds Media. They're a couple of it's a husband and wife team. And they're photographers, videographers, and they've been to so many shows, recording left to right, doing music videos, and then they ended up participating, collabing with Cover Your Ass Entertainment to do their videos that we did. on some comedy skits that we did in downtown LA, and it was just fun. It was just it was a lot of talent out there that we were like trying to show off through Cover Your Ass Entertainment and stuff like that, and so it was fun.
You're originally from out there?
I'm originally from LA, from South Central.
Yeah.
South Central LA.
How long have you been in the IE?
Oh man, I've been too long already. I could say that I'm already. It's a part of me, But I mean, I'm like, I came out here in 2004.
Oh wow, okay, definitely a part of me.
Yeah,
see? That's why you're.
So I have both. I'm the 909-213-323.
That's why you're the
my
queen.
My phone number was the 213.
Yeah, that's why you're the queen of Inland Empire Radio.
There you go.
20 years strong.
I still remember my phone number though, you guys. 213-233-0722. That used to be my phone number back in the day when you would have a rotary phone. What's it called? The one.
Yeah. So I must confess. I know I got the Santi 951 tag on me all the time. That 951, Santi 951, I created it way back on the AOL days.
Oh my goodness.
But I did it right off the bat since 2005. So for anyone who has the 951 tag out there, I'm the OG. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No disrespect. I'm the OG because I've been holding that down since 2005. God. And FY 2005, 951, prior to that was 909.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was 909. Prior to 909, it was 714.
Oh, really?
A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it turned into 909, I want to say like 95, 96.
Oh.
No, I'm lying, like 91. Yeah, it turned into 909. But prior to that, it was a 714 kid in Riverside, then 909. But yeah, 2005, it became 951.
Wow.
Yeah. And just, Snapple facts. They're not sponsoring me. But yeah. So what is your end goal with your whole 2 Souls on Fire, or your biggest goal?
Oh, man. I mean, it's just a lot to think about because, there's a lot of goals.
Obviously the vision changes, the vision evolves.
Yeah. Well, now with what we have, now with Jamhits TV, thanks to Jamhits TV,
Shout
as you guys can see right here.
TV.
It's incorporated the visuals, because for a long time I was just doing the radio show behind the scenes where, it wasn't me being seen, it was just my voice being heard on the audios and on the radio, just me talking or, stuff like that, right? And, of course, people knew what I looked like because I always go on live stream on Instagram and, social media. And not only that, but I also do hosting. I host shows. People hire me to do their shows and, to present the artists and stuff like that. So I've done a couple of shows, for different organizations and stuff. Like one to name would be like No Fronts Events. Shout out to, No Fronts Event, Pirate and Creeper. And they had hired me for that. And also to the Martinez boxing team, they had hired me for one of those events that they did. And left to right, just doing stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, I met Mike from Jamhits TV at the Lifted and Gifted event, that I did with Tony's Talk Showcase. And, he was like, hey, let's go ahead and do this and bring it to life, on YouTube. And I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was very skeptical. I'm pretty sure he probably got that from me because he kept hitting me up. And I was a little scared, because I'm like, I don't know, I've never really done live TV, and have people look at me and see me. And, because I've been doing it for the longest on my own. And, and if I screw up and no one sees me, but then, the first day that I actually was on Jamhits TV, when I first did my first show, it was me by myself, and it was me, doing the triple shot back to back to back. And I was nervous. Because I had a lot of cameras in front of me and people watching me and stuff. And I'm like, oh, and then, when they tell you how to, he's not telling me how to run my show, but like he's basically the director, right? So I was always my little self-director, and all of a sudden he's like, wait a minute. And I'm like, wait, but no, but, and I was, he's probably laughing right now. He's like, yeah, that was true. Cause I kept saying, wait a minute, but I normally, when I'm recording and I was getting all like, and then I'm like, I gotta stop. Cause he probably knows what he's doing too. Right. Like I gotta trust him. I gotta trust the systems, the way it's being done. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just take a breather and okay, let's run this shit again. So then we ran it. And then, man, I got so much feedback. They were all loving it. They're like, oh my God, like, this is so much fun, and I like it, and it's interesting, and you make it fun, and we can't wait to see more. And so then that's it. So I was like, you know what, we're going to continue doing this and, you know, growing it into a bigger network. And like you know, Mike said, you know, one day we'll have our own, you know, big old, you know, building where we can have our own setups, and, you know, hopefully we get more sponsors so that way they can sponsor us, and, you know, we can have some kind of money coming through, you know, where we can continue to do community shows and get, you know, big time, you know, artists on the stage, and all the artists that have been following me from day one, you know, because everyone starts off somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And we don't all start off big. We're always going to be small, big, right? So just as how I have faith in my artists, when they started off with me, they weren't really like as big as I want them to be just yet. They're just like me. They're having faith in me. I'm having faith in them. And eventually we're going to grow together, and then we're going to be able to hopefully do a Hollywood Bowl.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's my dream, to have like an actual like event that's like in a huge stadium or something like that, where we can just bring on all the artists that I've been promoting left to right, that has been having my back since day one, you know?
A huge festival.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm with you on that. And that being said, I love what you said there, because that's what got me here. Obviously, you inspired me to be here, you know, your hustle, your love that you have for this, you know what I mean? It's very, very contagious, you know? That being said, something that really, really like sealed the deal for me is when I spoke with Mike the first time, and his first sentence, he completely was like speaking my language. He said, you know what, I'm trying to build a network here. Yeah. And which is a vision that I had at one point of building a network. And I was like, heck yeah, this fool's like speaking my language. Yeah. I'm in. In. Say less. You know what I mean? And so. And
it inspires you, right? To even be more. Yeah, that's like my partner, the one that started it off for me, Vinyl Diffusion Radio. Shout out to them. He's the partner of my show, and you know, he doesn't do visuals, but it's all about like the same way audio. He does his shows on audio and on the radio, and he said the same thing. He's just like, I want to build a network, and his idea is all about the music, you know. So he already has if you was to go to his website, you can see that he already has a certain networks that are already in agreement to make, you know, their shows on his show. But his is all about music. It's just, he has a passion of music. They have techno, they have house, they have deep house, they have 90s, they have hip hop, and he has all these DJs, because it's all about DJs. Like his show's all about DJs. And so if you're a DJ and you want to get your showcase on his show, hit him up, because Vinyl Diffusion Radio is always about promoting. He's like me. We have that passion to help people out. Yeah. And he, you know, had DJ Sai1. I don't know if you remember who DJ Sai1 is. Shout out to Tony's Talk Showcase. That's his homie. He had him on his show, and he did a spin, and he did his mix on a Friday night. And, you know what I mean? That's how DJs get promoted on there. And, you know, if you ever need a DJ for a party, and you just kind of go up on his, you know, website, you'll see which DJs are available around your area. Yeah. And he helps them out. So that was his plan to do that. So, you know, I told him, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So I'm part of the network too, you know. So this is growing, you know, because now, like I'm saying, I started off with the Vinyl Diffusion Radio, and my radio show gets played on his, and then Jam Hits TV is visuals where everyone could see what we're doing and get a feel for it. And now not only that, but when we're bringing in the artists to the studio, they love it. Yeah, our artists get to, you know, be on here. It's a state of the art studio here, you know. Yeah, he put a lot of work into it. I saw when he was creating it, when it wasn't even looking like this, he had sent me visuals of what it looked like. I mean, it was a whole bunch of stuff. It looked like a garage, you know. And then when he cleared it out and everything was like, you know, all painted, the floors were done, and I was already like, wow, like I could just see the vision. You know? Absolutely. And with that being said, we here at Jam Hits TV are looking for sponsors at low rates for any show that's under that network. Yeah, exactly. You know? So to end it here, I mean, like I mentioned to you, I appreciate you. I have a lot of love for you. You mean a lot to me. If I haven't said that before, you really do. What advice do you have for people that want to get in the game that we're in, or that connect with the game that we're in? Well, I think that, you know, like a lot of times people think that they might not be able to do it, you know, because I know at one point I felt like that way before I even became a radio host. I felt like, well, who's going to want to listen to me? Who's going to want to listen to what I have to say, you know? And not only that, but I don't think I mentioned this, but it is hard for a woman, you know? I mentioned this on other podcasts that I've been on where they've interviewed me, and I didn't mention it a lot, though. It was just on one podcast that I was on. That was on the Mind Buzz. Thanks to the Mind Buzz. Shout out to Gil. Shout out to Gil. They're part of the 909 area too. And I you know, it is hard to be in this position because there's always men are in podcasts. It's always a man, you know, and it's just that's how it is, I guess. I don't know. I mean, maybe, you know, they were one day in the garage saying, hey, we just talk all the time. We might as well create a podcast. I mean, that's kind of how some homies have told me they started it. So, but, you know, when I started doing it, I'm like, man, I don't think I'll be able to, you know, or I don't think I'll have enough support or people that are really believing in me. But the most important thing was, wait a minute, let me get back out of this box and look at myself. Am I able to do this? Yeah, I am. Why? Because I was like, you know what? I believe in myself. I think I have what it takes to do this. And because I've also, you know, there's certain people in my life that has told me, you know what, you have it in you. You're a people person. You're outgoing. Your energy is very vibrant, you know, and like when you come into the room, people notice you, you know, and I'm always out there, you know, like saying hi to everybody. You're trying to be like, hey, you know what, like, you know, an artist, or you have like, I'm always trying to network within the network. Like if, you know, you have a DJ, right? And then this person's needing a DJ because they have a party or an event. I'm like, well, look, I know a homie, okay, boom, make a connection. I'm always about making that connection. So I think that's what it is, you know, that drives me.
Yeah, you definitely live and breathe all of this. I see that. and you're right. I mean, I think getting rid of self-doubt is very, very important.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Because if you're doubting yourself, time will pass, and then you look back and be like, damn, why didn't I try to dive into that?
Yeah.
Then? Not that it's going to be too late, but you never know. Maybe the ship has sailed, you know?
Well, when I completed my 1 year anniversary, I mean, when I was on that stage, and you were there, by the way, you and your wife and your daughter, I met met all of them that first day. And when I did the 1 year anniversary, I was in awe. I was like in tears. Like, not probably people saw because I was like, you know, but I was like the day of, like, thanks to Joshua, you know, from Night Wolf Comedy. He made it happen because I was going to throw in the towel because a lot of people were like, hey, aren't you going to celebrate your 1 year anniversary? It's coming up. And I'm like, I mean, we don't have funds for that, you know? I was talking to my partner. I was like, damn, like, everyone wants us to do a big party, but, like, I don't really have money for all that. Like, it costs money to do shows, you know? And so when he came through, Joshua was like, hey, well, we can do it here and this and that. And don't worry, it's going to all work out. And when we got it all done, I was like, man, like, a year passed by when I thought I was going to give up maybe on the fourth show. On the fourth or fifth show, I was like, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, you know, but I had a lot of help from a lot of different people, you know, and my sponsors, you know, like Primo, you know, shout out to Con Ganas. That's Tony's brother, Tony's Talk Showcase, you know, for believing in me too, man, because, you know, he helped me out a lot too from the beginning, way in the beginning. And then Louis from LZ Entertainment, and also Louis, shout out from Sick with the Clothing, man, and Jason Garcia. Like, they were all like, you know what, we got your back. Don't worry. And Frank Vibes, another one, he's in Hemet. And me and him met through another friend. And he was like, I'm going to start my own little YouTube channel. And at the same time, I was like, well, I'm going to start my radio show. He's like, all right, and let's help each other out. But yeah, there's times where I was like, nah, I don't think I'm going to do too well. Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of people that, you know, might think, you know what, like, let's just go on to another podcast or another radio show. And yeah, you know, there is a lot of people out there that are doing similar things that we're doing, but everybody's going to gravitate to whoever they feel the most humblest with and the most, like, connection with, exactly. You know. So, you know, I think I've gotten a lot of good feedback from a lot of people that like what I'm bringing to the table and how I present myself and how I present them too. Yeah,
you, like I mentioned, you live and breathe this, you know, and you ooze of the passion and the love that you have for it, you know what I mean? And people will always gravitate to that. So with that being said, like, I appreciate you being my first.
Thank you.
You know, I really do. And you definitely won't be my last. You know what I mean? But
is it that quote from that guy from the Bamba?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building. I'm looking forward to see what's to come with 2 Souls on Phyre Radio, Triple Shot Tuesday.
Exactly.
Tune in, everyone. And with Santi Section and everything that's going on here at Jamhitz.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to keep growing. Like, we have the Culture Rich podcast. We have It's Mega Time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're doing their thing too, and it's all, thanks to Mike, from Jamhitzmusic,
Thank
what I mean? And he has a vision as well as we do. And we are, trying to grow, with the community and to do all the community events as well to help out businesses. I mean, that's kind of like my goal too, to bring out businesses and have people know what you guys are selling, what you guys are all about. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very well said.
All
well,
right.
we look forward to the next one. All right.
All right. Thank you for
everyone,
having me,
tuning
guys.
in.
Peace out.